Hi, I'm John from Just Whiskey. If you like today's show, please click like and subscribe and consider becoming a Patreon with the link in the description below. And remember, no matter how good it is or how much it costs, it's just whiskey, folks. I first want to start off by doing a little recap on my previous review. You see, all my shows that I do are unedited. And almost at the end of every show, when I put it on YouTube, the next day or sometime thereafter, a thought comes and I'm like, I should have said this, or I forgot to say that. So what I'm going to do every now and then is do a quick recap, and this one is very quick. I reviewed my last review was Talisker 10 versus Ledaig 10, and Talisker 10 makes no mention whether it's chill filtered or colored, so we have to assume that it probably is, especially being a Diageo product. Ledaig, on the bottle, it only says non-chill filtered. But on Toby Murray's website, if you go into the shop section on Ledaig, it does say that it's uncolored and non-chill filtered. But the color on the Ledaig 10 was very close, almost identical to the color of the Talisker 10. And I made mention that, in my opinion, the Talisker didn't appear to be colored. But I meant that in the context of comparing it to the Ledaig 10, because the colors look the same. Had I done an independent review on Talisker, I just would have left it at, if it doesn't say anything about coloring, chances are that there is coloring added. So on Talisker 10, I really have no idea whether it's color or not. Having no information on it, they probably do. Okay, back to today's review. Today we are going to be talking about Amrut Fusion and the Amrut Cask Strength Peated version. I'm a little apprehensive about doing this review because I'm really unfamiliar, and this is my first entry really into the Indian single malts. As you can see, I've done quite a bit of damage on the Amrut. I've spent quite a bit of time with this over the last couple of months, and sharing it with other people, get other people's opinions on it by the campfire and things like that. So first we're going to talk about the Fusion. And the Fusion, I only bought a small sample bottle of this, and I have to say that I've had many samples before, and it's very challenging to judge a whiskey by just a sample. In my opinion, you really need a bottle where you can revisit it over time. And in a sample, there's really not enough in there to do that. So today's review, keep that in mind in context, whereas I've had quite a bit of time with the Peated Cask Strength. So first, being a sample bottle, this is very small writing. I just want to read a little bit from the Amrut Fusion. Of course, Amrut means elixir of life. Okay. This whiskey is made using barley grown and malted in two regions spread far apart. While a major part of the barley originates from the feet of the great Himalayas, the rest, especially the peated barley, is sourced from Scotland. The malted barley is carefully mashed, distilled, and then matured in select oak barrels at our distillery in India. I can't make it all the name of the town. And they're made in small batches, and I think all Amrut products, but definitely these two. There's no color added, and it's non-chill filtered. The Fusion is 25% cask strength peated single malt and 75% cask strength unpeated malt. Now, most of Amrut's cask strengths are around 60% or higher. This particular peated cask strength is 62.8%. However, the Amrut is 50%. And this, 50%. And this sample was bottled in January of 2020. I also have, which I have not opened yet, I have a bottle of very limited edition cask strength ex-Caroni rum barrels, and only 120 bottles of this were made, and this is from, not that we need to be going into all this, but I am leading to something. So this is a ex-rum cask 5149, and this one comes in at 60%. So if they're saying that the Fusion is 25% cask strength peated and 75% unpeated, and it's only 50%, I'm assuming that maybe they add a little water to that to bring it down to the 50%, but I don't have proof of that. This, and Amrut Fusion and Amrut cask strength, a non-age statement. My understanding is they're between 4 and 5 years old. This Amrut cask strength, made with ex-Caroni rum cask, which I have not opened yet, is 5.5 years old. It's non-age stated, but they tell you when it was distilled, and then they tell you when it was bottled. So it was easy to figure that out. So for sake of argument, from these three Amruts, between 4 to 5.5 years, roughly. So maybe some are a little bit younger, maybe some are a little bit older. They do not state that. So the Fusion is 50% ABV, and the peated cask strength is 62.8% ABV. Okay. The Fusion. On the nose, I get a little vegetal, vanilla caramel, and believe it or not, and I've never smelt this before, and maybe it's my imagination, but I get a hint of cannabis. Maybe it's just me. And you get a hint of a subtle, a very, very subtle peat to it. Very clean, inviting nose. This is definitely a complex dram. You can taste it's spirit driven. You can taste the youthfulness, in my opinion, in it. it has an alcohol bite to it. And the first 2 or 3 drams I had of this, actually it made my lips a bit numb and tingly, which I've really never experienced that before, even with high proof cask strength. This is a complex dram. It's got a little bit of peach apricot, that stone fruit thing going on. Subtle sweetness to it. I think a long finish, but a long spirit-driven finish, and very clean and bright. Okay, a little bit of water. Okay, now to this bad boy. This is a hefty dram. I normally don't add water. Most of this bottle I did not add water to in my samples. However, for tonight's review and this dram, I added a half a teaspoon of water about a half hour ago. On the nose, you can definitely tell it's peaty and smoky. It's got a coffee note, coffee and caramel on the nose. That is a big, powerful, explosive sensation on the palate. Definitely get stone fruits in this. More pronounced, I think, the apricots and peaches. It is intense. It's very sharp, intense, very oaky, a bit of menthol with a heavy, woody peat sensation that reminds me of the Octomore 7.4. And without water, this will burn your nose hair. This is a potent dram, even with water in it. Potent dram. The finish is long as well, and maybe because it's heavily peated that I don't notice, even though I can tell it's strong, I don't notice that spirit-driven alcohol note that's on this, even though you can tell that this is a powerful dram. Okay. Again, this is my first jump into the Indian single malts, and on the back of the Amrut Peated Cask Strength, it also says that this whiskey is made from the finest imported Scottish peated barley. So that is interesting, I think. How would I rate these? Well, you can see they are clearly labeled for that with the Jim Murray's Whiskey Bible scores, and he rated this Fusion 97 in his Whiskey Bible, and he rated the Amrut Peated Cask Strength at 92. These are all subjective, obviously. So the scores I'm going to give you are just from my opinion. I'm not trying to give you a score that competes or compares with other people's scores. The scores I give on my channel are from my perspective and my enjoyment. And they might not necessarily reflect the inherent quality that others might pick up on. Having said that, I do agree with the range in that I prefer the Fusion over the peated cask strength. The peated cask strength is just, and I love Islay whiskeys and Octomore and Ardbeg and Lecheg and Lefroy. But anyway, so let's the scores reflect my opinion. The Amrut Fusion, for me, I would rate this between 87 and 89. And the Amrut Peated Cask Strength, I would give this more in the 85 to 87 range. And that can vary, but that's kind of my enjoyment range. I really wish, and I obviously still can, I wish I had a full bottle of the Fusion to have spent more time with. So it is a bit challenging to base it on the sample. So this review obviously is taking that into consideration. Would I buy another bottle of Amrut Fusion? Yes. Would I buy another bottle of the Amrut Peated Cask Strength? Probably not. And I think I mentioned it, but this particular Amrut Peated Cask Strength is bottled in June of 2018. And I know I already said what that was. And sometime in the future, I am going to crack this baby, which I'm really looking forward to. The Amrut X Caroni rum. Really looking forward to that. Okay, so if you enjoy today's show, please click like and subscribe and consider becoming a Patreon with the link in the description below. And remember, and I'm glad I say this because no matter how good it is or how much it costs, so Amrut Fusion price retail in the United States generally in the $60 to $70 range ish, and the Amrut Cask Strength Peated closer to $90, so in that range. So thanks for watching. Hats off to you all, and take care.